Do you need a game changer to come along in your life to completely change the course of your life, either financially or with your health and fitness, or your relationships, or your love life, or your sex life? If you do, then stay tuned, because that's what we're talking about today. Well, this is Non-Monogamous Mark. I'm the co-founder and the CEO of ECNM Lifestyles Association. That stands for Ethical and Consensual Non-Monogamous Lifestyles Association. And I help to stretch and exercise your mental muscle so that you can live the life of your dreams and increase your abundance, your liberation, and your freedom, both financially, with your health and fitness, with your relationships, with your sex life, and also your love life. So today we're going to talk then about, if you need a shift in your life, or also it's called a game changer in your life, for any one of those fields, or maybe a whole bunch of those things, the financial arena and the love life and the sex life and your friendships and just all of those things. Maybe they all need to shift, or maybe just one of them. But these kinds of shifts, there are internal shifts and there are external shifts. Now I'm going to use interchangeably, I'm going to use the word shift and game changer here. The other day I did a video, we talked about in that video, actually 2 days ago, and we talked about in that video how the games in our life, every bit of the things that we want in our life are brought to us through incremental little changes and incremental pieces. And that there's not fireworks that go off, and there's not, like a Hail Mary pass, football game down to 40 yards and a 40-yard pass into the end zone, and yay, and everybody's excited about that. Well, that's not how life happens, and that's not how your life is created, and the life of your dreams is not created that way. It's created by little incremental changes every day, just day after day, week after week, so often that you can't even see those changes. But then today we're talking about those life changes that are like the Hail Mary pass, and that are like the Grand Slam, where the fireworks go off and it's like, okay, it's time for a fresh start. It gives you the opportunity to make some new choices in your life. And there are external game changers and shifts, and there are internal game changers and shifts. The difference is that an external game changer, that is something that you control, that you decide that you're going to want and you're going to do. So as an example of that, when Kathy and I decided, not even a year ago, last May, it was decided that we were going to move. We didn't know how it was going to happen. We didn't know when it was going to happen, but we knew that we were going to move from Seattle to Southern California. And that was an internal decision that we made, and that was a game-changing decision for us. And so that was something that we created. But then there are things that come along in your life that are external. A game changer for me that was totally external, that was unexpected, but it was a wonderful thing in the end result, was that when my wife came to me after 33 years of marriage, and where I thought we had a really good marriage, and after 33 years of marriage, she came to me and she says, "Mark, I'm changing direction in my life, and my future does not include you." I mean, I remember those words so clearly, and yeah, that shook my foundation. And it took me about 2 or 3 months of being depressed, and to kind of reach a place where, okay, take a deep breath and stand up and get on with life. And not only then have I gotten on with life, I am thriving in a way that was not possible in my marriage with my wife of that time, and so great things have come from that. She was literally 12 months later. She went to the doctor and they diagnosed her with stage 4 cancer, and then 15 months after that she died. And I really had already by then had let her go out of my life, and so I didn't have to go through that with her. I was able to continue the course of my life in a new way, and that was an external game change that I had no control over. Sometimes, your employment is something where you have no control over. Suddenly your employer says, hey, if you want to keep working your job, we're going to transfer you to this other city or this other state or maybe even another country. And maybe where you completely find yourself unemployed, where it's a position that you thought that you were going to be doing well in and staying for a long time, and suddenly you're unemployed. That's certainly a game changer. And so there are these big things in life, and I'll be talking about a lot more of them, in the upcoming videos about the kinds of game changers that have come along and affected my life. There's been many of them. Starting the first game changer in my life was when I was still in high school, a senior in high school, and I decided that I was going to go in the Army. And when I went to sign up the papers to enlist, and I was enlisting, it was called a delayed entry program where I wouldn't be going in the Army until after I graduated from my high school senior year, and they would take and write a contract with me so that I knew where my duty station was going to be and what my job was going to be, what I was going to train to do, and all these things. And I went there to sign those papers. Mom figured, being from Burien or Seattle, Washington, that I'd be stationed at Fort Lewis, and we had talked about this, which was about 30 minutes from home in Tacoma, Washington. And we had talked about that, and but then when she wasn't there, and so I'm there talking to the people about signing this contract, and I said to them, I says, how far can I get away from home? You see, because I knew that I needed a game changer. I was feeling like I was in this box where the people around me, the people who knew me, I felt like that they kept me as that individual, which is not the individual that I wanted to be. And I wanted a chance to find myself, and I wanted a chance to just be able to do that without anybody kind of defining who I am or trying to define who I am. And so maybe that's the kind of a change that you need as well. These are shifts where you're going down one path, and then suddenly you stop and you jump over onto another path. That's the shift that my wife took when she said, Mark, I'm changing direction in my life, and my future doesn't include you. And so for her, that was an internal shift or an internal game change. For me, it was external. But it was really wonderful for me, and so when I decided to go to Germany, that was the first time I came to understand how important these game changers and these life shifts are, and they can be in your life. And so then, like I said, sometimes they're external and sometimes they're internal. So it's more the internal game changes because those are the ones that you have total control over. And so think about what kinds of game changes, what kinds of shifts that you really need in your life in order to get on with life and in order to have the life of your dreams. One of the other game changers came to me is after 25 years of being married monogamously. My wife and I were virgins when we got married and heavily involved in the church. And we talked about before we ever got married that we wanted to enjoy sex with each other after we were married. But then after we got married, we never really enjoyed sex with each other. And there we were in marriage, not liking to have sex with each other. And so we thought that, there's maybe a lot of different reasons for that. And we went to find out what was the problem. How can we fix this? And we spent 20 years trying to fix that problem. Did all kinds of things for 20 years. Went to seminars and workshops and read books and watched videotapes and spent over $10,000 for a lady who was a certified doctor, had a doctorate degree in sex therapy. All kinds of things that we had done, but we never found a solution after 20 years. Spent lots of money, lots of time trying to find a solution to this, and then so finally after 25 years I came to her and I said, I think that it'd be a good idea if you had sex with someone else and then I had sex with someone else as well. That was a game changer. Now, we didn't just run out then and start having sex with other people. No, as we had 25 years in a monogamous marriage, and that's momentum. And imagine momentum. When does the best place to put a stop to the momentum? Is in the beginning. Imagine a car that's got at the top of a hill, a 1 mile long hill. And so you kind of put a little nudge behind that car and it starts to roll. Now you want to stop that car. Are you going to take and stop the car right there at that moment? Or are you going to run down to the bottom of that hill and try to stop the car at the bottom of the hill? Of course, at the bottom of the hill, it's going to smash you. At the top of the hill, it's pretty easy to stop at that point. And so that's how momentum works. My wife and I, we had 25 years of momentum in our monogamous relationship. And so we couldn't just suddenly get in front of it and expect it to stop without plowing us over. It took us 2 years to transition our monogamous marriage into opening up our relationship and becoming non-monogamous. But that was an internal game changer. That was huge for me and also for my wife. And then from there, that was at we opened our marriage after 27 years of marriage. And 6 years later, she decided to create another game change of shifting her own life. And so that's how these shifts work. The last thing I want to talk to you about was the fact that in making these shifts, you want to make sure if it's an internal shift, you want to make this shift from a place of being on a high level of energy. I've talked a lot about in my videos about the energy that you create. And if you're taking and making this shift at a low level, guess what you're going to attract into your life? More negative stuff. And none of us want more negative stuff in our lives, but that's how we attract those kinds of things. This is our energy level is at a low level. So like for instance, when my wife came and said she was changing direction in our lives, then I spent a number of months taking and getting myself in a place where again, I was then putting out pure positive energy in my life before I moved on into new relationships. But by the time that I did move on to new relationships, then I was putting out pure positive energy, and that's why then I have my partner, Kathy, as my partner today, because she's the one that I was putting all that pure positive energy to, and so I appreciate that a lot. And so you want to make sure that if you're in a place of really negative energy, or even a little bit of negative energy, you want to make sure you turn that around and be a vessel of pure positive energy before you start making those big shifts in your life. So thanks a lot, and to learn more about Non-Monogamous Mark and ECNM Lifestyles Association, go ahead and click on that link.